What's going on, Phantom Force and Cosmogs fans alike? This is Phantom Base coming at you with our week number 2 APA Academy match. Your New York Cosmogs are 0-1 going up against it's whatever coach of the Sacramento Nidokings, and I believe he's 1-0. Don't quote me on that. I can't remember. Uh, yeah, this is quite the rematch since our NCP match. You'll probably see this before you see the NCP match though. But forget to late upload it. Yesterday was a very busy day, so I decided I was going to try and get it together on this one. Anyway, so really quickly, we're going to go over the team before we hop into this match. Now, you see, he left a few things in the back than I anticipated. I can't really, but these are like the main 6 that I really expected him to bring. So like that's like the 6 most annoying he could bring. What we have first off is I believe, a mixed defensive hit moment to take on. I believe we're mostly split at hit actually, because we're taking him to take on a +1 Jirachi that doesn't have. So we at +1, we're not one shot by, I believe, Grass Knot after a spike. And we have EQ Rocks Roar, Slack Off, or Whirlwind, I should say. Doesn't make a difference because there's no soundproof mods here, but next we have a Scarf Track. Pretty self-explanatory. Dual Stab. We have Edgequake, Close Combat, and Rock Slide. Rock Slide just in case I don't want to miss versus the Zard, or just so that I don't have to worry about running out of Stone Edge PP, I have a secondary Rock Stab to lock into. Next we have a sub Black Sludge, a sub 3 attacks Rose Raid with a Giga Drain Sludge Bomb HP ground, because his team has no ground switch-ins at all. Like, his only ground switch-in is Decidueye and whatever he transforms into versus me, which very few of my team has. My team that I brought has ground switch-ins, which is good because I have a lot of ground spam. Next we have an Autotomized 3 attack Selly with Ground EMZ. It's a good win condition late game, or it can just potentially stop a sweep. Next we have a Sub-Toxic Protect 1000 Arrows Zydog, meant to capitalize on the obvious Alamola switch-in. And it also gives me a nice secondary check to things like Zard and Rachi that aren't that if Rachi isn't scarfed and Zard isn't a +1 yet. And next we have a very physically defensive, more mixed defensive, mostly physically defensive Mega Altaria that's meant to check Charizard, because it has rolled to a KO with just Hyper Voice, and it's also our guaranteed way to not lose to webs, because we can always switch it on Galvantula. Even a Life Orb and Power Ice doesn't 2 KO us after rocks, which is nice, and we can always defog on that with Roost, Heal Bell, and Hyper Voice, of course. So looking at his team, looking at this matchup, I was pretty sure his only couple probable leads were either Jirachi or like Jirachi, Zard, or Galvantula, because I figured if he let Galvantula, he was going to want to go get webs up turn 1. So I figured if he was going to do that, I could at least get rocks up turn 1 to force Zard to take 50% on a switch in. So that's what we decide to do, and yeah, so that's how we're going to lead this out. So we're going to start out with this good old lead out. We lead Sophie, our hippo. Good old hippo name. We did actually bring a sand stream hippo this time instead of sand force, because all ship is good ship in this game, and particularly to break a sash on this particular scary looking spooter here. So we see he gets up webs turn 1, as I'm going to actually get up rocks, I believe, because unless he brought defog Zard, he did not bring any hazard removal, which is great, because that means that. Now, granted, that means my rocks aren't there to stay either, but like, if I click defog, so I decided I was going to go into Altaria to scout for the energy ball, as I'm pretty sure this thing would have it, even though EQ 2 KOs this thing anyway. And funny enough, energy ball doesn't even 2 KO my Hippowdon unless he's life orb. But as we see, he's not life orb. We chew that hit rather nicely. And so we're going to Mega Evolve Altaria here, and we're actually going to attack, I think. And The only reason for that is because on the off chance he decided to try and go into Zard on our defog, or Jirachi on our defog, we kind of wanted to scout some sets. Or if he decided he was going to go to Alamomola. He does go to Jirachi though, which, I mean, is perfectly viable play. Also, I didn't want to get rid of my Realm Rocks too early. Because, yeah, first instinct is to defog there, but he could always just get his webs back up, and it would have been a lot longer game had this happened. Well, judging by the damage, that is very offensive Jirachi. We're going to go hard into our Celesteela, expecting him to go for a Flash Cannon to try to get damage on our Altari, potentially prevent us from defogging. This Scout also tells us he's max special attack. And he gets the Spit F drop, which, I mean, Serene Grace. What do you expect? But here I'm actually going to double. Going to my Hippo, because I'm expecting him to have Thunderbolt. He has to have Thunderbolt to check this thing. So, I wanted to make sure that's counted for that. And, yes, he has Thunderbolt, so that's good. So now we're going to click Whirlwind on his potential switch out here. Because it turns out he may not have that particular, he may not have Grass Knot, which is good for me. So we're going to Whirlwind out, because I wanted to see what his initial switch in was. He does come into his Aloe, but this gets him back into his Galvantula, which is perfect for me. Because now we can actually knock this thing out with Hippo. We can, because Hippo, like I said, is going to chew any 2 hits from this thing if he's not Life Orb, and he's not Life Orb, or even Specs, so EQ is going to knock this thing out, which is fantastic for me, because Hippo proving its worth here. Getting rid of a really annoying threat. We got rid of the webs, so we can potentially defog later and get our rocks back up at some point, particularly versus Jirachi. It goes into his Decidueye, and here I could have potentially Whirlwinded expecting the setup, and I did expect the setup. But here I decided I'm going to try to defog on this thing, because if he's not set up, we can easily chew a hit from this thing, and we can roost on it if he's not offensive. Now, here he just goes straight for the swords, and he's like, okay, so we got to sack Altaria. Now, I'm going to click defog on the off chance he tries to not, because if he doesn't have Z move, he doesn't kill me here. Because even a +2 Spirit Shackle cannot kill me from this range. Max roll is 62%, I was a 65. So, but he pops the Z move. Okay, good. I made him waste it on this, so I can go into Selly and get damage I need to kill this thing, to revenge this thing with Terrakion. That's all I needed was to scout for this thing's Z move. Which is good, because that also means Jirachi doesn't have it. Which means Jirachi actually has to get it really set up to kill off Selly. Which makes Selly actually a lot bigger threat to his team. But as you're going to see, we're going to actually have to sack off Selly, because we need to get damage on this thing to make sure it's in range of Terrakion. And we will outspeed this thing with, as you're going to see, this thing is adamant with that roll, so that also means that he can't even outspeed us, and outspeed some of our mons, even with that meant that without the webs, my Rosary would actually outsped this thing, because we were only Scarf modest, or no, we were modest with enough speed for Adamant Decidueye, because of the way his speed tiers worked, he went all the way down from Zard down to Decidueye. So here we got him in range of Earthquake. Earthquake did like minimum like I want to say 17% to an Adamant set, which is good. So we can just click Earthquake here, which forces him to not be able to go into his Charizard or into his essentially he can't go into anything, because if I locked into Rock Slide, he could easily go into his Jirachi. I wanted him to be forced to go into his Alamomola, and so that means I can switch hard out and go back into my I can go into my Roserade here, because that's a really easy switch, and we're rather bulky. Like, we have a lot of HP investment on this thing. So, he's going to go for a Scald, and you're going to see this is just going to bounce. I mean, the bounce shows no investment at all, which is great, because that means we can sub up on this thing. Now, here's where a potential Misgen actually cost probably a differential point or two, because he goes hard, and I mean hard, into his Ditto. And I'm thinking, okay, he's going to transform into me before I sub. He's limber. So I'm like, oh, that blows, because I got to sub up, and he can't transform. Now, in the grand scheme of things, that just meant that he would have had to take a hit here, and then he would have had to go and try and take a hit from, because he would have had to lock into a move, and depending on what he locked into, that would have determined what I switched into, because I had a good bit of checks to my entire set, and I don't know what his IV investment was to make his particular hidden power. Because if he wasn't hidden power ground or hidden power fire, if he was hidden power fire, he was walled by Tarak. If he went for Sludge Bomb, walled by Tarak, and I could come in and revenge it. If he went for Giga Drain, I could just stay in, and that wouldn't have been a problem. And if he went for sub for some reason, I don't know. But anyway, this thing reveals Calm Mind. I'm just like, okay, this could be a problem, but this HP ground shows me that I can 100% kill this thing after he gets to, even if he gets to +1, because he has like no defense investment. It looks like he only ran enough speed to outrun Rose Raid. It looks like, which is perfect. Funny enough, he does show that he's modest, which I fully expected because he knew I could run Modest Rose with his team. So we're gonna go for HP ground. We're gonna take this thing out, and now he's kind of going to his Zard because that's the only thing that threatens this thing out. His Ditto doesn't threaten us out, so he has to go into Zard. Zard's gonna take 50% from rocks, which is beautiful, and so we're gonna we're gonna go into our Hippo because I want to get Chip on this thing. He can only defog with this thing. So if I'm going to force him to either defog or roost here. If he roosts, he's still in range of a 2-hit KO. And the funny thing is, I can see a spread based off of the damage he does. If he goes Adamant with this thing, he actually can kill us with an Adamant max attack Flare Blitz from this range. However, if he is Jolly, he can't. Now, it's a roll though. And if you look at this damage, he's actually, I think he either got the low roll on Adamant or he was Jolly. Now, with that Flare Blitz damage, he's forced to either Dragon Claw or he's forced to Roost. And if he's going to Roost here, he's actually still in range of an Earthquake anyway, so it doesn't matter. But he does go for Dragon Claw and get killed off, which means that he doesn't Dragon Dance, which means that my Terrakion outspeeds. And Terrakion can now lock itself into Earthquake again. Because he has, I believe I go for Earthquake here just so that he can't go into Jirachi for free. Now he's going to take the rocks. He's going to take, no, I go for Rock Slide. Not quite sure what. I wanted to do more damage to Aloe because I knew that was coming in. And this thing shows that it's got like, it's pretty much Fizz Def. Which is good because that means it's a free, almost kill straight outright for my Rose Raid. So this thing is going to, so I'm just going to go hard back into Rose again. And he doesn't really have much of a choice in this matter because now he's got no Jirachi, he's got no Ditto, he's got a Scald here. Well, he's got a Ditto, but it's not going to do anything. So every time I'm in this position, I click sub because he's got to sack something. And at this point, that's literally it. He's got to sack something. So we can just click substitute here for free. As he goes for Scald, and I forgot that Webs Rubs, he's actually going to get the burn on this turn, which really is kind of funny. In retrospect, it's really funny. But I just click sub here because he can't break my sub. Nothing else seems to break a sub. Zard dies to rocks. Ditto can't do anything to me because he's scarfed, and he'll be scarfed into transform and locked into it at that. And then Aloe has to take 3 hits to break my sub. So we just click Giga Drain. We're just going to click, I believe, Giga Drain here. As he goes to sack his Zard to rocks. Which, you know, is a fair play. At that point, it really couldn't come in anymore. It couldn't do anything. My entire team checked it. The only thing it didn't check it was Zydog. And that's just because webs were up. But anyway, so now he's going to go back into his Ditto. So we're just going to click Sludge Bomb here, because that kills this thing. This thing is scarfed, so obviously he's going to outspeed us. But he can't do anything because we're behind his up, which is particularly why I brought this Rose. So we click Sludge Bomb, and that just blows this thing away, which tells me that we may have been able to kill him, even if he was transformed. So that's nice. Now, and here he goes into his Alamomola, and I think it comes in at like near full. Like, look at that, he comes in at full, and this is an Alamomola. So we're just gonna click Giga Drain here, and like he's gonna Scald, and obviously he can't break our sub. Like there's no way, not even with the crit could he break our sub. So we're gonna click Giga Drain, and this tells you how powerful Rose Raid is. Modest Rose destroys in one shot an Alamomola after rocks, and that could have been any kind of Alamomola, but max HP should have chewed that hit, which means he was like full on fit, or like max HP with a little bit of Spit F investment would have chewed. But no, anyway, that was a really it was a good match despite the miss gem. I think that really just changed the differential a little bit. Because in the end, he would have had to choose a move to lock into. If he had whatever HP he had, I had him on for it. Um, like, whenever he had IV'd himself to be hidden power wise, I had him on to check it. If he had HP Ice, I went to Tarak. If he had HP Fire, I went to Zydog or Tarak. If he had HP Ground, I went to Rose Raid, because we chewed that. Um, if he went for Sludge Bomb, went to Terrakion or Zydog. If he went for Giga Drain, I stayed in with Rose Raid. Ditto didn't have a winning chance versus Rose Raid. If he locked himself in Terrakion actually I have made it so that I would be potentially walled by Rose Raid. So he would have had to choose between a rock move or a fighting move. Chose fighting, go to Rose Raid. Chose rock, go to Zydog. If he switched into Zydog, funny enough, Zydog was actually walled by Rose Raid because he had Sub-Toxic Protect and 1,000 Arrows. So I literally just Giga Drained on that all day long. And there's nothing you could do. So as far as Ditto goes, I had that thing thoroughly checked. And then, but yeah, other than that, like, that was a really good game. That Decidueye put pressure on really early, and I was really, really impressed with the team he brought. Really well built. It was a really good game. Uh, Go check him out. He's just starting up on YouTube. He's a really good dude. And yeah, next week we face Obo, aka Owen, coach of the Houston Laxes. And yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. We're now 1-1. Go Cosmogs.